And I don't blame you. I mean, the energy is so strong, I can barely speak.
During the meditation, you said always better not to think anything, but sometimes nice to think positive world peace or unite some kind of positive thought. Is that good? I think I can feel more connection all the way to the end of sky or something like this. So
I don't know if it's good or bad, but look, if you want world peace, make peace inside yourself. Get your mind quiet, get your emotions quiet, get connected to spirit, live your life consciously. I mean, that's the only way there's going to be world peace. That people finally have to recognize that all of this conflict and all of this insanity that goes on in the world is a reflection of what exists inside each and every human being. And for that to end, people have to fix themselves. They have to begin to look at the world and say, okay, this is teaching me something about me. I want world peace. Okay, first I got to get peace inside me. And then the next step is, and look, I'm not sure there will ever be world peace, complete peace in this. I can't remember, I always say this, a day in my life where there hasn't been a war somewhere in the world. People haven't been starving somewhere in the world. There hasn't been extreme poverty somewhere in the world. And the whole job is, look, we want to connect with spirit. We want to live lives full of love. We want to be happy people. We want to, spread that happiness maybe to other people. So the job really that's incumbent upon us is to fix ourselves. Get centered inside, get the heart open, the mind quiet, live with the heart open, live with compassion, live with love. And I think that's the best step that any human being can make to create world peace. But, you have 8 billion people that have to learn how to do this. And it's certainly not my job to teach them how to do it. It's God's job. I mean, I once had a long conversation with God and I said, look, I can fix me. I can work to open and teach the people that come to me and that want to learn, what in the universe is flowing through me. I can't fix the world. I said, that's God's job. And then there's reincarnation, there's lifetime, there's all of this stuff available to the human race to ultimately come to the realization that chasing Maya, chasing illusion, greed, stepping over people and doing crazy things to make money and, is not the answer. All it does is create madness in the world. But it takes lifetimes for people to recognize this. So what I would suggest is don't worry about world peace, fix yourself. If you fix you in a profound way, that will affect other people. It might not affect Vladimir Putin. I'm not quite sure what will affect that guy. But it will affect people that are close to you, people in your life, people that, and then people will say, well, what have you done to get this way? Where can I learn this? And they might come to learn these kinds of things. But even then it's so hard because people, I love that. I want to learn. And then when they find out the amount of work they have to do on themselves to be able to master what I'm talking about, most people run away. They want it to be like, I can switch a light on in the living room and all the lights go on, but they don't want to do the inner work that's required to attain what I'm talking about. So it's a very complicated situation, and I don't have an answer to it. You know, how to fix the world. I gave up on that a long time ago. I have a hard enough time fixing me. So please, you know, work on yourself, open your heart, learn to live with a quiet mind. You know, yes, and that will organically send out a vibration to the world for peace, for love, for, you know, joy. You become a living example of that possibility.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? You know, as I was kidding around before the class saying this is one of the few moments or hours in the world where there's actual sanity, there's peace, love. You know, I mean, yes, it exists. Other people teach spiritual things and meditation, and it exists in other places. But it's always small groups of people. It's not a congregation of 100,000 people that are cheering a baseball game, you know? But we have to finally accept that and say, okay, here's an opportunity for me to become a child of God, to become one with higher energy in the universe. And maybe that sacred presence will affect other people. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, it's a difficult thing to swallow because this means total responsibility for oneself. You cannot put it off on anything else. And that is something difficult to swallow. I have to be completely and totally responsible for my own happiness. It's not complicated. You just got to keep your heart open, and that comes. I mean, one of the great metaphors in Rudy's talking was always, how do you create an organic garden? You know, the best, you know, stuff you can use is compost. And what is compost? Is garbage. Tension is human garbage. And if we get strong enough inside, we can transform our tension into love. If we can stop defending ourselves and stop being right and just listen and open the heart and be grateful. Build a system inside that can sustain gratitude. And the tension, a compost, human compost is tension. It gets transformed because it's just energy, and it can become love, it can become joy, it can become a lot of things, compassion. If we bring it up into the head and the emotions, then we're fighting the world. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, it's enough of a battle to transform ourselves that we don't have to spend our time fighting the world. I mean, the real dragons exist inside us. And that takes undeniably an effort that is very profound. But it takes one to a place where all the garbage gets transformed. Not all of it, there's always going to be some. It starts getting transformed. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Talk about working with our limitations in that.
Well, look, limitations are not negative things. Limitations are just signs, they're reflections in yourself, you know, about the necessity to grow inside, to build a deeper comprehension and consciousness about yourself and life. And limitations, you know, we fight them, we get upset because we have them, instead of just opening and say, okay, this is what my limitation is. If I go a bit deeper in myself, I can break down that limitation. That doesn't have to stop me from, you know, deep and strong inner work, from a more creative life. I have to recognize that limitations are my teacher. And they're not negative things. They're just things that are telling you, you got work to do on you. Don't get satisfied with where you arrive, because wherever we arrive, anywhere in life, there's always limitations. And if you begin to see them that way, they become friends of yours. They're really teaching you what you have to do to grow in yourself. And instead of getting upset, you know, because you get writer's block or this kind of block, or, you know, and you feel you can't write the great novel or compose the, you know, Ninth Symphony of Beethoven or whatever it is, you know, build some monstrous business. I mean, instead of getting upset, you go deeper inside and you connect with the energy that enables you to do those kind of things. It exists in every human being, that kind of energy. We have to just, you know, be able to recognize what has to be done in ourselves to tap it. And never put yourself down because you discover you have limitations, you know? Just say, okay, there's work that I still need to do on me. Isn't that terrific? I haven't arrived yet. I still have work to do on myself. Somebody's knocking something. I don't know who that is. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Stuart. Look, you're a young person. You have so much creativity in you. And you're going to come up against all kinds of tests in your life. And let the tests be an opportunity to grow instead of being something that defeats you, you know? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, then we'll have a meditation on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And I just also, maybe you're all tired, I don't know, but this is a blessing for me to be here. It's a blessing for me to sit and open this way and tap this kind of depth of energy in myself. And the greatest blessing of all is to be able to share it with each and every person that attends these classes. Bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good to see everybody on Wednesday.
Good night, Stuart.
Good night.